The what? The digital experience? No, enough with the buzzwords. That's too many buzzwords. One too many. We're out. Why in the world does a digital experience matter amongst all of the buzzwords we already have going? Well, to answer that, we need to sort of go through a little bit of a journey of what led us here. So, first of all, we've been talking about transformation for well over a decade. I mean, I started with IT transformation, and then it morphed into a conversation around digital transformation, and then it was cloud first and cloud native and cloud everything, and that was one big transformation. And then more recently, we've been talking about the transformation of work, and it's just sort of on and on and on. Except it sort of is missing the point. Even the talk of disruption isn't quite right, because what this is really about, it's about a shift in. But to understand that shift, we have to go back even further in time, back to the dawn of the industrial age. In the industrial age, it was all about using technology to drive efficiency and optimization. But that wasn't the sort of technology that we think about today. It was steam engines and the cotton gin and all of these first movements where we started having things like assembly lines and even the first idea of supply chains. This was all a form of technology that drove efficiency and optimization, and that translated into value. Later we had things like computers. And interesting, a little sidebar on this, the very first computers were called computers because they were replacing human computers, people that did these long form calculations so that scientists and engineers didn't have to do them and they could move faster. Well, the first computers were basically taking that job and making it go faster and be more efficient, and that's why they were called computers. So it was always about this idea of leveraging technology to drive efficiency, and efficiency equaled business value. The faster you could produce something, the lower cost at which you could produce it meant you could charge more for it or earn more profit from it, and therefore created business value. And that equation lasted for well over a century, maybe 2 centuries. It was this amazingly powerful thing until about a decade or a decade and a half ago. At the dawn of what I call the digital era, we saw a shift. A shift from the lever of value creation going from this idea of using efficiency and optimization to create value to something different. And in fact, all of these organizations that we view as disruptive, the Amazons, the Airbnbs, the Ubers, take your pick, they were not out optimizing their competitors. They were not being disruptive because they were somehow more efficient. What they were doing was transforming the nature of the customer experience. That's what changed. And so suddenly, this playbook, this equation that we had for the last 100, 200 years was rendered moot. Moot. Well, moot. Do you like moot? I don't know. Moot's a weird word. Was rendered useless, meaningless. And that's not entirely true. It's not that efficiency isn't important anymore. In fact, it's still incredibly important. It's the ticket to the dance. You have to be efficient. You have to be optimized. But that's not enough to create business value today. Today, you need to be creating winning digital experiences that allow you to compete and win and differentiate yourself in the market. That's the lever of value creation. And it's the essence of digital transformation because that's what it's really all about. It represents this shift in power away from organizations that, because they were all about driving efficiency and optimization, could make direct and indirect statements like Henry Ford's, "You can have any color you want as long as it's black," to now where it is the customer who's in control. Because the customer can dictate the experience they want, and the switching cost because of all this digital technology has dropped so dramatically that it's now the customer that's in control. That's the essence of digital transformation. That's the essence of why the customer experience, the digital experience, is so important today to everyone. And there's 2 final things that you need to think about. The first is that I use the term digital experience because while the underlying driver of this is the customer experience, we have to also be cognizant of things like the employee experience and the developer experience and the ecosystem or partner experience, because all of these directly impact your ability to deliver a winning customer experience. But secondarily, because Organizations are no longer just competing for customers, they're competing for employees and developers and partners. And they too, because it's the same sort of a transaction, they are looking for an experience that they enjoy. It's all about the experience now. The next part of this is, well, if the lever of value creation in the enterprise is now the digital experience, then how do you go about creating it? That's what I'm going to cover in our next video. I'm going to cover what I call the digital experience value engine and how you can create one. But for now, what I'd suggest if you're new here and you're just getting started, which you probably are, is to go back to our introductory video, which talks a little bit about why we're even doing any of this and why it matters. The video should be right here, I think, somewhere there. So go check it out. And thanks for joining the channel. I'm Charles Araujo, publisher and principal analyst of the Digital Experience Report, and I'll see you at the next video.